So we got the news Raising Kanan will be back this summer, which was confirmed by Starz. But along with the Power Never Ends teaser, they did drop some new footage of Raising Kanan Season 2. And it's not much, but we're gonna break it down and add some context, running through where we currently are with our main core characters, with Kanan, Rasquel, Marvin, Lulu, Jukebox, and Unique. But we're also gonna touch on Scrappy, Detective Howard, Beck, as well as Symphony and Davina. But before we get into the character breakdowns, these are the official titles for Season 2. So in order, The More Things Change, Mind Your Business, Sleeping Dogs, Pay the Toll, What Happens in the Catskills, It's a Businessman, No Love Lost, A House Is Not a Home, Antitrust, and the season finale is titled If You Don't Know, Now You Know. So let me know what your initial thoughts are on the episode titles for Season 2 down below in the comment section. But with that being said, let's start with Kanan. Now, at the end of Season 1, we saw him being manipulated by Rasquel into killing Detective Howard, who he doesn't know is his father. Then we saw him being sent away by Rak, with Rak standing at the top of the game thinking she's just defeated Detective Howard and Unique. But it seems like Kanan's back in with his moms, and as in the first season, Kanan still wants to protect Rasquel, similar to how we saw him do this when he killed Buck 20 for being on the corner of 20th, not knowing that Rasquel gave up the territory to Unique to settle their beef. But it's not Kanan's job to protect his mom, so we're gonna hear Rasquel telling him, "You're not supposed to be protecting your mother, I'm the one who's supposed to be protecting you." But everybody does need protecting in their own ways, because sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. But with Kanan, he really does need protecting because he's shown a lot of naivety and made costly mistakes. He was way over his head with Davina coming out the cash house and revealing his location, which ultimately cost Rasquel her product and cash. He also killed a dozen on the street with his bad product, and he's also the ultimate reason why there was this war between Rasquel and Unique, and that's because he decided to kill Buck 20. But let's not get it twisted, although Kanan is making a lot of mistakes, he has shown us small glimpses of smarts, because he did set up the drive-by business with Marvin, which he learned from Symphony's teachings, and he knows they can use Symphony to learn and apply his knowledge to the game, and this is something I think we're going to see more of in Season 2. There's also the relationship with Scrappy, because Kanan's going to have a lot of mentors in the game, and where his relationship started a little rocky with Scrappy, it ended with Kanan realizing Scrappy is one of Rasquel's most loyal soldiers, and Scrappy also grew some respect for Kanan after what he just did with Detective Howard. So this dynamic between both of them is something to look forward to. But let's move on to Jukebox, because she's another person who is very close to Kanan, but they also had their troubles as well, especially when Jukebox tried to make Kanan realize Davina was a rat. But they do still have this close bond and relationship, and they made it clear from the very beginning when Kanan said nobody loved Jukebox more than him. So it really does make us ask the question, why did he pick Tariq over Juke in power? Regardless of how fond Kanan grew of Tariq, Juke was everything to Kanan. So something must have happened in the past which stuck with Kanan for him to kill Juke, because even in power you could see when Kanan was with Jukebox, Juke was running shit and telling him what to do. She was also dictating the chess moves with Ghost and Tariq, and I'd go as far as saying you saw this bit of fear in Kanan's eyes because he knew what Jukebox was capable of. Tommy also called her this crazy bitch, and you also saw the fear in Ghost's eyes when he realized who Tariq was trapped with. So this is something I do hope we see more of from Jukebox's character in Season 2, which is this real savage side coming out. And we all know Juke is far more advanced than Kanan at this stage. She's a lot more knowledgeable about the game, even though she made it clear she doesn't fuck with anything that Marvin's into. There was also Nicole's death, and the way she handled her love being killed by Kanan's product. Rather than blaming Kanan, she said it's this game, and these are the consequences of this fucked up place that they live in. Now, we also saw Jukebox in the short teaser, and my guess is she's standing at Nicole's grave, because even though she wasn't mad at Kanan, she was definitely heartbroken, and I'm sure she'll still be hurting. But elsewhere with Jukebox, arguably the biggest moment which shows us how smart Juke really is how she recognized they're playing in this grown folks world, where they can't afford to fuck up, and they're doing things which will stay with them forever and define who they are. But most importantly, she knew Rasquel manipulated Kanan into killing a cop, and Juke said it herself, she knows Kanan better than anyone. So when Kanan was playing tough guy, Juke was able to see straight through him. But aside from Kanan, we saw Jukebox building a bit of a bond with Detective Berg after the death of Nicole, and I do wonder if she'll either get close with Berg or Howard, which is ultimately the reason why she became a cop. So this is something we still need to see, what pushed her down this path. Now, we also know Rasquel and Juke also used to have their girly talks, and Juke definitely knows a lot more secrets than Kanan thinks. And one secret is, she knows D-Wiz got in the car with Lulu, so she knows what happened with D-Wiz. but I really do wonder what other secrets she knows. But Raquel and Duke were able to build this bond because Duke never really had her mother in her life, as well as going through a period without having Marvin either. So let's talk about Marvin next and start with this relationship with Jukebox, because you could really sense they didn't have this father and daughter connection, and we saw Marvin snooping through Jukebox's things, and it does stem from Jukebox's mom leaving at a young age, but also Marvin being arrested, because both Lou and Raquel made reference to Marvin doing his bid in Elmira. So Duke was actually forced into growing up with Raquel, who also accepts her for who she is and her love for girls, something which Marvin is dead set against. But when he said Nicole got what she deserved, we saw this ticking time bomb of a relationship just explode, with Marvin choking Jukebox against the wall. And this really is it for this relationship, because I do think this relationship is broken beyond repair, especially as we saw Duke move into Kanan's room after Kanan left. But what really will complicate things even further for Marvin and Jukebox is Jukebox's mom returning, who's Kenya. So how does Jukebox react to her mom who she's not seen in years? And how does Marvin react to her returning? And is she really a changed person? So Kenya being introduced will completely shift the dynamics between Marvin and Jukebox. Now, something else we know about Marvin is he knows he has an anger issue, so he's gonna see Timmons, who's an anger management therapist. Now, Renee can hold her own with anyone, especially with people who attend their class and need help with working through their issues, and one issue Marvin had in season 1 was with his big sister Raquel. Now it all stems from Marvin being the actual leader of the Thomas organization until Raquel took the reins, because Marvin proved he couldn't be the leader, and this is where the base of their issues started, because along with Raq taking control, she never respected Marvin and what he brings to their organization, until she was forced to when Lulu dropped his guard and ended up in hospital. So with that being said, let's move on to all things Raquel, and we have to start by saying even though she wants to be at the top of the game, and that's where she thinks she currently finds herself, because in her mind, Unique has been arrested and she thinks Howard is dead, but Raquel ultimately also wants to lead the game. And this is something she revealed to Symphony, with Lulu being her exit. Of course, all of these come with their own issues, starting with Detective Howard being alive. Lulu also wants out of the game. Kanan's narration told us he can't trust his mom, and the evidence against Unique probably won't stick. So where Raquel thinks she's won, she may have won a few battles, but the war is far from won in my opinion. And where does this really go for Raq? Because she really was a devil from start to finish, with having Lulu kill D-Wiz, to manipulating Kanan into killing his own father, and this really was Raquel putting shit into Kanan's mind, something which I mentioned with how Duke told Kanan she just had you kill a cop, and Raquel really did have Kanan killing a cop, while she had an alibi who was her mom and everybody else at the church. She's also suffocating both her brothers, because Lulu wants out of the game, but Raquel won't accept him leaving. She said his shit is her shit. And then there's her relationship with Marvin, where she did put some trust in him with her plan to take down Unique. But I'm sure we can all see them being at odds again at some point in season 2. But let's talk about Lulu next, because he changed ever since he was forced into killing D-Wiz. And then we saw him trying to create his own exit strategy, with Jessica pushing him to go for his dream. So we saw him muscle his way into the music studio with Crown, and when he did, he took a night off to celebrate, when we all know there are no nights off in this game. And this is where he was ultimately caught by Unique's crew. So from Lulu killing D-Wiz to him buying the record label, ending up in hospital, and realizing Raq had her son kill a cop, where they believe Detective Howard is dead anyway. But what more is it going to take for him to give Raquel the big fuck you? I do think Jessica's death is coming in season 2 in my opinion. How and why, let's wait and see. But she is an early death prediction of mine. But from both Marvin and Lulu, I can really see Lou turning on Raq, especially because he wants out of the game. And he knows himself the only way he's free from the game and Raquel is if he gets rid of her. So the dynamics between the Thomases is definitely interesting, because we all saw the cracks appearing in season 1, and it's not going to get any better in season 2 either. But let's finish on all things Unique, starting with how he offered Lulu a way out from under Raquel, because he offered him a deal. But regardless of the issues that Lulu has with her sister, I really don't think he'd betray her by going to the other side. He made a point of flying the same flag until he's dead. But things really didn't end well for Unique, because where he made some very good moves hitting Raquel's stash house with the information he got from Davina, he ended up being arrested because of the chess moves Raquel played with his jacket. Now interestingly, Marvin also ended up being arrested, so I do wonder if we could start season 2 with both of them being locked up together, because this really would be feisty, because I'm sure Unique knows it was Raq who was the one who set him up. But regardless, I really don't think the evidence will stick for Unique to be locked up long term, so I can see Unique being a problem for Raquel in season 2, especially if he starts working with Detective Howard to try and take down Raquel, because it really is in both of their interests. But it also depends on what Detective Howard says when Burke asks him who shot him, him, because he knows it was Kanan wearing unique jacket, but he also knows his son was being manipulated by Rag, and in the back of his mind he's probably thinking he needs his son to get his transplant. But that's just a brief overview of where we currently are with our major players going into season 2. But there are also other characters we need to watch. There's Cartier Dunsfarid and Ziza, who will also be introduced, and someone who was mentioned but not shown in season 1 was D-Wiz's brother, who could very well turn out to be Breeze, because Breeze is also being teased to come for season 2. So whether this is D-Wiz's brother or someone else, I think both have a chance of showing up. But that's a breakdown of the episode titles, the small teaser, and what we can expect with some early thoughts for season 2 of Raising Kanan. So drop me all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and of course if you're new to the channel, you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.